Severely wounded soldiers fighting to survive. It's up to elite Air Force medical teams to bring them home.
WCPO.com reporter Taylor Mirfendereski traveled to Afghanistan to show us Cincinnati's role in our longest war.
Shot in the stomach fighting the Taliban. This man is now clinging to life. It's up to this Air Force medical team to move him and get him one step closer to home alive. But it won't be easy. The equipment he needs to breathe might not work at 25,000 feet in the air. The working conditions in the sky are harsh, dark, shaky, loud.
So you can't even listen to a patient's heart and lungs and hear them through your stethoscope.
But it's nothing they haven't done before. In fact, they've all been through training much worse.
You know things are going to happen, but you don't know what, and then it's just like something jumps out at you, and you're like, and that's just kind of how it always felt.
7,047 miles away, University of Cincinnati Medical Center is transformed into a war zone.
Hold on, Johnny. Doc's here, okay?
It's the Center for Sustainment of Trauma and Readiness Skills, often called C-STARS. More than 1,200 Air Force doctors, nurses, and respiratory therapists since 2003 have trained here before moving our nation's most gravely wounded soldiers out of war.
So in its own unique way, Cincinnati has reached out and touched each of our significantly wounded soldiers during this conflict. They have a little bit of Cincinnati flying them home on every mission.
They're called CCAT teams.
We're going to be moving right here.
And they've moved more than 6,800 patients since 9/11.
It's just a three-person team, and you could be flying, up to 6 pretty complex patients.
The flights are sometimes more than 12 hours long. Some soldiers reunited with families just days after they were hurt.
You have no backup. When you're in the back of that aircraft, you're it. So any problem that comes up, you're the patient's only chance.
It's like a roller coaster. It's that moment right when you're going up and right before you go down. Just your heart starts pounding, and you have little time before it really just hits you full-on flush.
It's in this simulation room, modeled after the back of an aircraft, where lifelike mannequins could be mistaken for victims of real-life war.
We were practicing as the worst-case scenarios that we could imagine, and it did prepare us for one of our bad missions.
It's a test where everything can go wrong.
I wasn't sure I was going to pass. If you had that much going on a flight, you'd be pulling your hair out for sure.
But she passed, and because of her Cincinnati training, that man in Afghanistan survived the flight.
What you may not realize is those same Air Force medical teams are actually modeled after what the hospital did here in Cincinnati decades ago.